Good evening, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for joining me. Today is April 27th, 2023. I have several news updates to share with you. So I will start with a peace talk in Tanzania, but uh, except the information we have from different media, the talk, the talk is going nicely or smoothly, uh, and it's going to continue at the end of this month. Except this information, we have nothing to share with you. No breakthrough or no announcement so far between the Oromo Liberation Army and the Ethiopian government delegation still in talk in Tanzania. Uh, the other disturbing thing is the Ethiopian government still waging intensified war against Oromo Liberation Army in different parts of Oromia region. So uh, the government extend its hand for peace, but is waging the war. So it should stop. It should stop this war and give a chance for this peace talk. So it's conducting peace talk and waging war. Intensifying the war to take advantage. It's just like misleading the global community. So Ethiopian government should be pressured to stop this war and give a chance for peace. So this stop this double standard. You say you are against the war and you are open for peace, but you are carrying out intensified war against Oromo Liberation Army and causing the suffering of Oromo people. So this is a double standard, has been reported on different social media. So stop this, unacceptable condition and just give a chance for peace. The other update I have is the tense situation in Amara region of Ethiopia and the assassination of another high-profile case in that region. It happened before on governors and other high-profile regional leaders. Now again, this Fana media reported the killing of Prosperity Party Amara region branch head. Very familiar face. So we'll listen to this, and next I have another video about the engagement of Tigray with other regions, the visitation of high delegation to the region, which is positive, which is good. It should continue. So let's listen to this. This is breaking news happened today. The high-profile killing in Amara region. This Amara region is a very dangerous, very tense now because of the federal government engagement with Fano militia and Amara militia in order to, to conduct disarmament of these forces. So let's listen. It's in Amharic.
ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትር ዶክተር አብይ አህመድ የአማራ ብልጽግና ጽሕፈት ቤት ኃላፊ አቶ ግርማ የሺጥላ መስዋዕት ተከትሎ የተሰማቸውን ሀዘን የገለጹበት መረጃ ይሆናል። በመልእክታቸውም ሀሳብን በሀሳብ ማሸነፍ ያቃታቸው አካላት የወንድማችንን የግርማ የሺጥላን ነፍስ ነጥቀዋል። ልዩነትን በሰለጠነ መንገድ መፍታት ባህል በሆነበት ክፍለ ዘመን በሀሳብ የተለያየን ሁሉ በጠመንጃ ለማሳመን መነሳት የጽንፈኝነት የመጨረሻ ጥግ ነው ሲሉ ገልጸዋል።
ግርማ የሺጥላ
ተወልዶ ባደገበት አካባቢ ከኛ የተለየ ሀሳብ ማሰብ አልነበረበትም ብለው የሚያምኑ ነውጠኛ ጽንፈኞች የፈጸሙት አስነዋሪና አሰቃቂ ተግባር ጽንፈኝነትን በጊዜ ታግለን ካላስወገድ ነው ወደ መጨራረስ እንደሚወስደን ጉልህ ማሳያ ነው ሲሉ ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ በማህበራዊ ሚዲያ ትስስር ገጻቸው ገልጸዋል።
ኦኬ
በብልጽግና ፓርቲ ምክትል ፕሬዝዳንት
Okay, this is a high delegation visit to Tigray region. So that is Girma Yeştila, Prosperity Party head of Amara region, and he has been the main source of information from that region. He was a briefer. Concerning the security situation during the war, the 2-year war of Tigray region. So he was very known, well known, and a familiar face. So now today he has been assassinated. Prosperity Party head, Prime Minister, in his statement is blaming local forces who do not have the power to beat through political discussion, bringing different idea. But Ethiopia is not open for that kind of bringing different idea and beating Prosperity Party or competing against Prosperity Party. So he is just saying and expressing his condolences for the days of Girma Yeştila and blaming local individuals for this killing. So such thing keep happening in Ethiopia since Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018. So many high-profile cases of such kind. The assassination of the military general Sar Mekonnen, the army chief, and Engineer Semany Sleshi, the guy responsible for GERD, Ethiopia Hydro Dam, and the assassination of artist Hachalu Hundessa, the assassination of lawyer Abdul Jabbar Hussein, and the Amara regional government. So many high-profile cases and so many unknown killings happened since Abiy Ahmed came to power. No one accounted for. No investigation for those high-profile cases, and nobody knows. And this killing keep coming back because there is no justice, there is no accountability. And we have seen so many videos, especially the killing of 30 individuals from Wallo region, just openly assassinated on live video. Nobody caught and brought to justice. So that's why such kind of open assassination and the killing keep happening in that country. No accountability, no justice under Abiy Ahmed leadership. So that is really heartbreaking. The country to become such a very bad environment for Ethiopians. Let's continue with a high delegation visit to Mekele. I'm happy to hear and see this. And let's listen. This is also in Amharic.
አቶ አደም ፋራህ የተመራ የክልል ርዕሳነ መስተዳድሮች የባለስልጣናት ቡድን ወደ መቀሌ ገብቷል። የአማራ ክልል ርዕሰ መስተዳድር ዶክተር ይልቃል ከፋለ፣ የኦሮሚያ ክልል ርዕሰ መስተዳድር ሽመልስ አብዲሳ፣ የአፋር ክልል ርዕሰ መስተዳድር አወል አርባ፣ የአዲስ አበባ ከተማ ከንቲባ አዳነች አቤቤና የተለያዩ ርዕሰ መስተዳድሮች መቀሌ ከገባው ባለስልጣናት ቡድን ውስጥ ይገኛሉ። ርዕሳነ መስተዳድሮቹና ባለስልጣናቱ መቀሌ ሲደርሱም የትግራይ ክልል ጊዜያዊ አስተዳደር ርዕሳነ መስተዳድር ጌታቸው ረዳም አቀባበል አድርገውላቸዋል።
The World Health Organization says COVID-19 deaths have dropped.
Okay, I'll come back to WHO head's warning about COVID-19. So that's interesting, and it should be encouraged to do more, visitation, more engagement of the Tigray region with other regions. The Tigray people suffered for more than 2 years. Very serious embargo and the war. So this is very encouraging to see. Oromia region, President Shmelis Abdisa, Awal Arba from Afar, and Dr. Yilikal from Amara region, and also the Vice President of Prosperity Party, visit to the Tigray region, and plus the Addis Ababa mayor. So this is very interesting, very encouraging, and I'm happy to see this. It's a reconciliation visit, and is a social support for these people, plus also the economic support. Some of the promising millions per to the Tigray region. So this is very encouraging, very nice updates about the Tigray region. To ease their suffering after the war. So it should be continue, and we should encourage the regions to interact and to make reliable peace with the Tigray region, and to support those people impacted by the war, whether in building schools, health centers, and supporting them financially, those rape victims, plus providing justice and accountability for all crimes committed in the last 2 years. That is still missing. Engagement is good. We are happy. Yeah, engagement is, but the engagement and those all support should not conceal the justice and accountability these people deserve. So that is missing. I hope through international expertise, UN expertise, or other independent organizations should investigate and bring justice for these people, and make criminals, whoever ordered those rapes, destruction of properties, and the killings, extrajudicial killings in Tigray and other parts of the region, they must brought to justice. So that is missing, and we should push for that with whatever means we have, through emailing congressmen, calling our representatives, or sharing on social media. Just we have to keep calling for justice and accountability for the last 2 years of war. If not, such things will happen again. So that's a little bit update on the situation in Tigray region, and the high-profile killing in Amara region, and the high delegation visit into the Tigray region. So Let's continue with other news. This one is new. Addis Standard just reported. Ethiopia introduces voluntary national military service for students. I hope it will remain voluntary. Otherwise, we're gonna go back to forced national service that we used in under Derg regime. So now, under prosperity, they approved this one, just voluntary. Yeah, we'll see. It says Ethiopia lawmakers on Tuesday approved a bill to amend the Defense Force Act, which consists of voluntary national military service for students who have completed their education. According to Dima Nago, PhD, chairman of the Foreign Relations and Peace Affairs Standing Committee at the House of People's Representative, HOPR, the new bill allows the Ministry of Defense to recruit voluntary students who are above 18 years old and have finished their high school or university educations into the national service. After taking military training, the students would provide military service for 2 years, according to the information posted on the Facebook page of the House. If the students voluntarily become members of the regular defense force or the National Reserve Force, the ministry will ensure that their related benefits and rights are guaranteed, it added. According to the chairman, the amended Defense Force Act would enable the National Defense Force to carry out its mission of protecting the country, being independent of any political bias. The bill was approved as Proclamation number 1286/2023 with 6 abstentions and a majority vote. Credit Addis Standard. So it looks like the national service we have in the United States, voluntary national service. So Ethiopia is trying to adapt this, and I hope they will not force those individuals. In case if there's a shortage of voluntary service, they might go for that. So we just keep praying to stay voluntary, and those who are interested after finishing high school or university to go to military service instead of going for work, that's okay if it's voluntary, as they say. So remain to be seen. This one is Human Rights Watch says companies took no action over gold mine pollution in Guji, urges government to halt resumed mine operations. Human Rights Watch said that Midrock Investment Group, a firm operating a gold mine in Ethiopia, and Argor Heraeus, a Swiss refinery from which its gold was sourced, allegedly ignored media reports about pollution from the mine in Lege Dambi, Oromia, for years, and urged the Ethiopian government to immediately halt operations until effective pollution reduction measures have been put in place. According to a statement released, Human Rights Watch said Midrock Investment Group and Argor Heraeus should provide compensation and health care to affected residents and clean up the devastating pollution in the area. An assessment commissioned by the Ethiopian government and initiated in 2018 by the Ethiopian Public Health Institute revealed that local residents in the mining area suffered serious health consequences, said report. The study concluded that communities living in the mining area were at risk of exposure to pollutants like toxic metals released from the mining plant and other mining activities. Human Rights Watch said the results of the assessment process have never been made public. Midrock resumed operations with a license from the government without any apparent steps to reduce pollution, even though the government has said it was suspending its license until pollution issues were resolved. The Ethiopian government suspended the Lege Dambi industrial gold mines license in May 2018 following protests over the pollution and its health impact. Scientific studies initiated in 2018 found that residents were exposed to toxic metals, violating their rights to health and to a clean, healthy, and safe environment. Environmental testing by Addis Ababa University in 2018 found high levels of arsenic in water samples taken downstream from the mine area and high levels of nickel, chromium, and arsenic in soil samples outside the mine. By then, the government has said it would not permit the company to resume the mine's operations until the issues were resolved and the toxic waste no longer poses a threat, according to the report. However, Human Rights Watch research revealed that the mine recommended operations around March 2021 without apparent steps to reduce pollution. The Ethiopian government, by allowing the Lege Dambi mine to reopen without pollution reduction steps in place, is violating the rights to health of children and adults living nearby, said Julian Kipperberg, Associate Child Rights Director at Human Rights Watch. The government should suspend operations until measures have been taken to ensure that harmful chemicals in the water and soil do not exceed international standards and that people harmed by the pollution obtain compensation and care. The report indicated that residents living near the mine area, located close to the town of Shakiso in Guji Zone, Oromia region, have for years complained of ill health and disabilities, particularly in newborn children. Human Rights Watch highlighted the Midrock, with support from Argor areas, should provide comprehensive, inclusive, and transparent environmental remediation. Midrock Investment Group, one of Ethiopia's largest private business entities, took over the mine from the Ethiopian government in 1997. Human Rights Watch has conducted research into the human rights situation at the Lege Dambi mine in Ethiopia since 2012 and interviewed 26 people living in the vicinity until 2019. Credit Addis Standard. And thank you, Human Rights Watch, for expressing this serious concern. And this is impacting newborn and other residents, expose them to health risk. So we appreciate Human Rights Watch for doing investigative work and reporting and warning the government not to renew this license for mine operation. EU sees return to full relations with Ethiopia, subject to sustained implementation of COHA. The EU Council said it looks forward to a normalization of relations with Ethiopia and stands ready to support further progress on its path toward lasting peace. However, the bloc said that it will progressively return to a full and strengthened strategic engagement with Ethiopia, subject to a sustainable implementation of the Permanent Cessation of Hostilities Agreement (COHA) signed between the federal government and the TPLF, and has once again reiterated its full support for the agreement. The EU commends the continued commitment demonstrated by both parties and welcomes the significant progress in the implementation of the COHA, notably in terms of silencing guns, facilitating improved humanitarian access, and launching the National Rehabilitation Commission to address disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration (DDR), the EU further said. The bloc commended the establishment of the African Union Monitoring, Verification and Compliance Mission (AUMVCM), the delisting of TPLF as a terrorist organization, the advancement in the restoration of public services, the appointment of an interim administration in Tigray, as well as the ongoing development of a national policy on transitional justice as an examples of the significant progress that has been made and remains one of the EU's key priorities. It also welcomed the Green Paper on Transitional Justice and said it encourages the government to keep taking proactive steps to advance the options contained therein in accordance with international human rights standards and supported by an international component such as the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights (OHCHR). However, it reiterated that independent, transparent, and impartial investigations into all allegations of violations, and abuses of human rights, as well as violations of international humanitarian law and international refugee law committed by all parties, are urgent and essential. The EU added that it looks forward to the final report to be presented by the International Commission of Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia (ICHREE) at the 54th session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva. On the other hand, the EU has expressed serious concerns regarding escalating tensions, alleged violations, and abuses of human rights and violence in various parts of the country, including in Oromia and Amara, and urged de-escalation and dialogue to achieve durable peace and stability through political democratic means. Although the EU welcomed the improved humanitarian access to the majority of the conflict-affected areas in the northern Ethiopia, it pointed out the widespread humanitarian needs, including in other parts of the country affected by severe droughts and other crises, require an adequate and well-coordinated responses. The EU suspended its budget support for Ethiopia in January 2021 over the war in Tigray. We are ready to help, but unless there is access for humanitarian aid operators, the EU cannot disperse the planned budget support to the Ethiopian government, EU High Representative Joseph Borrell said at the time. After 6 months of review, The EU Council held the bloc's position and said in June 2022 that despite some progress, it was not enough for the full normalization. The bloc called out once again for the immediate and complete withdrawal of Eritrean troops as part of the full compliance with COHA. Credit again at these standards. So Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, they are very eager to normalize relation with European Union and get the financial aid and other support. But EU said no, not so soon. We are, we are appreciate the progress, but we are not yet satisfied. We are watching you if you are delivering justice, accountability for those impacted by the war, plus other humanitarian cases. This one, from BBC, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda mount joint AFCON bid. Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda are set to bid to host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, or AFCON. The three East African neighbors have submitted a joint expression of interest with the Confederation of African Football, CAF, the governing body that organizes the biennial tournament. Three other nations have also registered interest: Algeria, Botswana, and Egypt. Egypt hosted the Cup of Nations as recently as 2019, while earlier this year Algeria hosted the African Nations Championship, CHAN, the pan-continental tournament for locally based players, meaning those two countries are unlikely to struggle when it comes to infrastructure requirements. However, it is unclear how much investment will be needed to allow either Botswana or the East African bid to succeed. Until last week, Botswana's bid was also due to be a joint one, but Namibia dropped out at the last minute, citing financial concerns. Kenya has just one stadium approved for international games by CAF, the Nyayo National Stadium in the capital, Nairobi. The country was stripped of the rights to host the 2018 CHAN just 4 months before the finals because several venues were not ready. So that's BBC. This is U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken for South Africa Freedom Day. On behalf of the United States of America, I extend my deepest congratulations to South Africa's people and the government on this year's Freedom Day. The magnitude of South Africa's first democratic elections in 1994 has never diminished, and it remains a beacon for so many people around the world who aspire to freedom, democracy, and self-determination. I send my warmest congratulations to South Africa and South Africans as you commemorate and celebrate this milestone. So that is a press statement from U.S. State Department on South African Freedom Day. Thank you. That's the last one for reading. I have a couple of videos to share with you and end today's presentation. Thank you again.
By 95% since the start of the year, but warns that the virus is here to stay and still on the move. It says countries need to learn how to manage its ongoing non-emergency effects, including the post-COVID-19 condition known as long COVID.
We're very encouraged by the sustained decline in reported deaths from COVID-19, which have dropped 95% since the beginning of this year. However, some countries are seeing increases, and over the past 4 weeks, 14,000 people lost their lives to this disease.
The WHO chief says, however, that the organization remains hopeful that it will be able to declare an end to COVID-19 as a public health emergency of international concern when it meets next month for its regular quarterly meetings.
Freedom, personal freedom, is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy. It shouldn't be a red or blue issue.
So this is
to protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this
Biden
country is treated equally, and that everyone is given
now
a fair shot
confirmed
at making it.
he is running for the second term.
But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life, while cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what health care decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election, because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty, respect, and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country. Thank you for choosing us. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. And this is our moment. We the people, democracy. So if you're with me, go to joebiden.com and sign up. Let's finish this job. I know we can. Because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we work together.
Okay, one more video about the passing of Jerry
At Harbor
Springer.
Freight, we've worked hard to expand our selection of high-quality tools. And we'd just like to say thank you for noticing. Noticing that everything from our jack...
Legendary talk show host Jerry Springer has died at the age of 79.
According to family, Springer died at his home just outside Chicago after a brief illness. Ashley Dvorkin takes a look back at his life and his career.
Talk show host and former Cincinnati Mayor Jerry Springer has died at the age of 79. According to a statement from his family, Springer died peacefully at his home in suburban Chicago after a brief illness, surrounded by his family. The statement says, Jerry's ability to connect with people was at the heart of his success in everything he tried, whether that was politics, broadcasting, or just joking with people on the street who wanted a photo or a word. He's irreplaceable and his loss hurts immensely, but memories of his intellect, heart, and humor will live on. It also adds, in lieu of flowers, they ask people to consider a donation or commit to an act of kindness, ending with, as he always said, take care of yourself and each other. Jerry Springer was a politician before a talk show host. He was elected to Cincinnati's city council in 1971 and became the city's mayor in 1977, serving one term.
I think you're still his favorite woman.
In 1991, his talk show began and soon became the famously outrageous The Jerry Springer Show, a hit syndicated show which ran for 27 years, ending in 2018. The controversial show would feature guests fighting, sometimes physically, throwing chairs, and an audience consistently cheering Jerry. Springer also competed on Dancing with the Stars in 2006, hosted America's Got Talent, and had a courtroom show Judge Jerry. Most recently, he appeared on Fox's The Masked Singer last year, competing in Season 8, performing as the Beetle. Jerry Springer is survived by his daughter Katie and sister Evelyn. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Okay, so that's the last one. Rest in peace, Jerry Springer. And let me conclude. So I'm still eagerly waiting what will be the breaking news about Oromo Liberation Army and the Ethiopian government peace talk in Tanzania. Just like you, I'm just waiting something good, hopefully, to come out from this discussion. You know, so I'm happy to report to you if I get something, or you can share if you hear something from that discussion. But the government, the Ethiopian government, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, must stop the enforcement and the waging of the war during this, at least during this peace talk time. Since you extend your hand, please stop waging the war and give this peace talk a chance. That's my message. And please also be careful about COVID-19. Some people still coughing, even here in the United States. So we are not completely out of the wood. Just be careful, be cautious. You know, watch your surrounding. You say within the last 4 weeks, 14,000 people died of COVID-19. This is a very serious warning, really, for all of us. So I know we don't want to go back and put face masks and isolate ourselves. That's that's unthinkable. But still, watch your surrounding and be careful, about your surrounding. So we are not out of COVID-19, according to WHO Director Dr. Tedros Adhanom. And Biden, good luck. He decided to run for the second term. Biden-Kamala Harris again. So, a little bit concerned about his age, but he looks like great, healthy. So just let's pray for him and let us support him to get elected. If Republicans, have a chance, to come to the White House, they will reverse whatever we gain under Biden administration. whether student loan, health care, social security, plus other issues will be reversed. So that's why we need to stand and support Democrats in every level. The policy matter, the policy the Democrats are advancing, very important for the majority of Americans. So let's unite and let's support and pray for Joe Biden to be successful in this second bid and win election and win the White House again. Thank you. And that's all I'm going to say for today. I will be back with other news and updates. Be safe. So long, everyone.